to Red Fox Rants.
This is not your mother's news show.
We're not going to be taking you through the boring decline of the financial system.
No, no, no. Instead, we're going to be exposing the ridiculousness of our system and society.
Like, really?
Now, for example, do you know how to eat a slice of New York pizza?
I know one New York mayor who does not.
And what if I told all of you here that the way we look at maps is going to be changing very soon?
That's nothing. Helmets really can't protect you from everything out on the road.
That's just a glimpse of what we have in store for you tonight, so let's get started.
In a recent New York Times article, newly elected Mayor Bill de Blasio was cited doing something that was absolutely anti-New Yorker. He was caught in a restaurant eating pizza with a fork and knife. What a disaster. Hopefully he makes some better decisions in office than he does at the dining room table. Many New Yorkers are up in arms claiming that he was disrespecting the New York tradition of folding a pizza before you eat it. Grease dripping down your arms and sauce all over your shirt is apparently also part of that tradition. Well, just for you, Mayor de Blasio, here is how you're supposed to eat a pizza in New York. Can I get a pizza? I love how it comes with a fork and knife, as if we're going to use that. We're definitely not.
Now, if you don't have a river of grease flowing down your arm and hand, you're doing it wrong.
Arm, and hand.
Arm, and hand.
Can I get a close-up of this? Now, you fold the pizza. You put your finger right there. You fold it.
And make sure you get the angle. Bite.
It's important. Now, that is how you eat good pizza. Good thing he's talking next. No, I'm not.
We are from New York.
No, I'm not.
That's good pizza. Now, excuse me.
Don't choke.
Talk about mayors making horrible choices. What is up with Chris Christie? Now, granted, the bridge wasn't closed by him, and he is claiming he knew nothing about it. There is still something to be said about the people on his administration pulling a stunt like this. Now, for those of you who have not been following the story, 2 of the 3 lanes on the George Washington Bridge connecting New York to New Jersey were closed by 2 Christie appointees in September of last year. However, recently, an investigation by the Port Authority uncovered emails from Christie's chief of staff showing that the administration at least knew of the plans to close the bridge. Now, the email stated, quote, "Time for some traffic problems in Fort Lee." The closing of the bridge is speculated right now as retaliation for the Fort Lee mayor not endorsing Christie's re-election. While this little game of chicken may have brought chuckles to Christie's crew, a 91-year-old woman died because of the traffic jam. The cause of the death was cardiac arrest. While she laid unconscious in her car, the paramedics were fighting traffic and eventually reached her too little too late. Didn't their mothers ever teach them not to fight fire with fire? So many people commute over this bridge, and now there's only one lane to do it, and suburban traffic gets caught up, someone dies.
I'm really surprised you didn't laugh during that entire story because I was sitting here eating pizza.
How was it?
It's really good.
Did you eat it the New Yorker way?
Of course I did.
Yeah, but we need to talk about Chris Christie because he's made news for many reasons now. But go watch Jimmy Fallon. He,
I don't know. I think that if he didn't know about it, then it shouldn't be a problem. Everyone from his administration is resigning now because they had clear proof that they were involved, and he should just never do it again.
I agree, but he's getting all the attention for it, and maybe we should, you know, switch the focus a little bit.
I just think it's funny that they would do that.
It's hysterical.
Let's just close the bridge. You didn't like us? All right. You're not getting to work tomorrow. Anyway, everything you know is wrong. Do you have friends studying abroad right now? What if I told you they weren't where you think they are? According to James Galls and Arno Peter, the map that we all had hanging in our social studies room were incredibly altered. This is a standard map of the world. Pay attention to the size of Africa and Europe and Africa and Greenland. This is the Galls-Peter projection. Look at how big Africa got. And where did Greenland go? A lot of controversy has been cited saying that the more conventional map has had psychological implications. The map we all grew up with is a map that is more proportional to the power rather than actual landmass. This type of cartography is being blamed for the reason people look down so much on third world countries. So I got a really good joke for you, right? The problem in Darfur was bigger than we thought.
So funny. But let me tell you what's really funny.
Greenland
is like 16 times smaller than it was supposed to be.
Not supposed to be, than it actually is. You just were...
I was excited to travel to this vast, you know,
no one's excited to go to Greenland.
Greenland.
No one's excited to go to Greenland.
No one's excited to go except for me. But now it's this really small, insignificant place. So clearly the map is having psychological...
Insignificant. Just take it off, really.
I don't know. I feel vastly affected by this.
I can tell. He's distraught.
I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to start off
Someone get him a normal
this
map.
next story. But here's how I'm going to do it. So say you're out for a nice ride on your bike at night, and your reflectors are turned on, you're wearing your traffic vest, everything you're supposed to be doing. One minute you're riding your bike, and the next you're riding in a car. Now this happened to a Wisconsin man, Stephen Gove, last week. The best part is the driver kept on driving. He didn't realize he had a passenger until he was home. Gove said this wasn't for a lack of trying. After being forcibly picked up by the 20-year-old, Gove turned to the man and said, quote, "Hello, how do you do? I'm the guy you just hit on the bike." The driver was completely unresponsive and just kept driving, allegedly running a stop sign and hitting another car. He's being charged with suspicion of drunken driving, suspicion of hit and run, and suspicion of failing to render aid. There's a lot of suspicion going on here, mostly about your laughing.
I'm so sorry. Like, how do you not know that you hit a guy and he's sitting in your... Like, I looked at this report, and they said that everything but his ankles were in the car. So you're driving home, you hit someone, there's a noise. There's got to be a noise.
Yeah, and a windshield that's completely caved in.
Yeah, the windshield's really caved in. And then a guy is just sitting there next to you trying to get your attention, and you just don't even see him. And then you get home and you realize someone's in your car. When he was getting interviewed for this, he was talking about the event, and he just said, wham, next thing I know, I'm in a guy's car.
Next thing I know, I'm just sitting in a guy's car. How do you do? But I'm just going to keep on driving, because that's all I really know how to do.
That's good. Well,
it's not good at all.
Can I read my next story?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. A new preview has been released in theaters recently featuring everyone's favorite camel asking, "What day is it? Movie day!" in an effort to try to get people to silence their cell phones. An ex-cop in Florida took a different route while trying to stop movie texting. Ex-Captain Curtis Reeves was upset by a man in front of him texting at the movies. His solution? Shoot him. According to the report, victim Chad Wilson was texting his 3-year-old daughter during the previews before Lone Survivor. Reeves asked him to stop, and when he didn't, he exited the theater, returned a short while later, and continued to argue with Wilson. When Wilson responded by throwing popcorn in Reeves' face, Reeves whipped out a rifle and shot him right above the sternum. Instead of fleeing the scene of the crime, Reeves sat back down with his wife while the paramedics arrived on scene. I guess he still wanted to see the movie.
You know, when Allie and I listened to the 911 call for this...
That was so terrible,
It was terrible. It was really hard. It was like 7 minutes long. You just hear the guy who's making the call, and he says, "Oh, yeah, you know, the shooter is still sitting here.
He's right behind me.
In the theater. He's catching the previews."
The worst part is he was texting during the previews. How is that disrupting really anyone?
It's not. This man clearly has mental problems.
Clearly.
Anyone who's going to open...
And he was a cop.
I know.
It's a problem.
It's scary.
Apparently we have to wrap it up now.
We have to wrap it up because this is some time limit or something.
Yeah, weird.
But you know what?
But 10 minutes.
That's all we had for you anyway. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Red Fox Rants.
That's Peter Malavenda, and I'm Allie Reed. Thanks, guys.
I am Peter Malavenda. It's a true story.